When Labor Day approaches in Creek County, usually it means an extra day off work and the time to go to the picnic area, but not in Creek County, especially in Bristow. It means the opening of the 1990 high school football season, and even more so, Creek County warfare, as their arch rival comes to town, the Bristow Purple Pirates against the Sapulpa Chieftains, next on Tulsa Cable Sports. The sign says it all. Welcome to Hafer Field, home of the Bristow Purple Pirates. And as you can see, a lot of state championships and district titles, especially under head coach Bill Scott. I think it's 14 out of the last 17 years Bristow has won a district championship. However, in this season opener, they'll meet their arch rival from Creek County, the Chieftains from Sapulpa. Hello again, Don King along with J.V. Haney. Boy, I tell you, when you talk of rivalries, you talk not only of the two teams, the two high schools, but the two communities.
Really, both communities, Don, get involved in a game like this, and we talk about it, kind of joke, coaches do. It's the championship of Creek County. Well, there's no really official title declared, but that's the way the kids enter it. And when you take a 5A school like Sapulpa, playing a very successful 3A program that Bill Scott has at Bristow, you find a lot of incentives on both ends of the pike here, because Sapulpa wants to win, and of course the 3A people, it's a great one if they can get off with a 5A win.
The Bristow Purple Pirates are without a quarterback, Brent Scott, who graduated and has signed a scholarship with Oklahoma State. So the Pirates will have a new quarterback this year.
They'll have a new quarterback, but there's one thing about the wing T offense that Bill Scott runs in Bristow. There will always be a player in every position standing in the wings. So even though he loses a quarterback that started 4 years, he'll have a dandy tonight.
For the Sapulpa Chieftains, they got back to the playoffs for the first time in almost 30 years. However, this year they have a new head coach in Frank Grimm, as Tom Strode has gone to McAllister.
And you know, this is an unusual thing. So many times, and Coach Grimm and I were visiting about this earlier in the week, Don, so many times when a coach takes over a program, he almost has to start from ground zero. Not this way at Sapulpa this year. Frank's inherited the nucleus both offensively and defensively, kept many of the staff members, so he's just going to go from where Tom Strode had the program, and they should be very good.
JV as the head coaches when we come back as high school football continues on Tulsa Cable Sports.
The mythical championship of Creek County. That's what we have here tonight in Bristow as the Bristow Pirates take on the Sapulpa Chieftains and Coach Frank Grimm from Sapulpa. It really is kind of the mythical championship of the county, isn't it?
Well, it's a big game. Everyone in our community is aware of it, and I'm sure they let me know by phone call and everything else. This is not only for our kids, but the people who have gone through both schools year after year, live and die by this rivalry. And to open up against such a well-coached, disciplined football team as Bristow, it's quite a challenge.
Frank, your first year at Sapulpa, but you actually didn't find the cupboard bare. So many times when a coach moves, you really have to start from the very bottom, but Tom Strode left you the nucleus of a good football team.
We had some losses in graduation, some fine running backs and some defensive backs, but I think we'll be able to fill the offensive and defensive lines quite well. We have a lot of players untested, but probably our strength is our wide receivers and our tight ends, along with a young quarterback who really looks good right now.
When you take a look at your offense, tell us a little about some of the key people that we might watch for tonight.
Key people, I think if you follow our team, I think at tight end we could put either 3 people in there that can move around and catch the ball. They're big, strong, they have good movement. Our 2 wide receivers, number 88 Will Berry and 4 Brian Barnes are as good as you can find around. They're not going to run away from anybody, but they'll catch anything in a crowd. Our quarterback, Johnny Bilby, will hopefully be able to get back and put the ball in the air sometimes. We have some young running backs, but as of late, they're kind of untested, and we're going to have to see against Bristow tonight if we can handle the type of offense we have with these young backs.
Best of luck tonight, Frank.
Thank you, JB.
Bill Scott from Bristow High School. And Bill, you know, in football they always talk and they use this cliche that some teams, they never rebuild, they just reload. And I think that is very true at Bristow High School, because over the many years here you've won 3 state championships, you've won, 14, 15, who knows, district titles. So every year you're able to reload. Kind of tell us how you're able to do that in Bristow.
Well, being here a long time, for one time, this I start my 21st year, 17th or 18th as a head coach, and if you look back in the background, some of our 4th, 5th, and 6th graders are working, and the coaches for those 4th, 5th, and 6th graders are past players that played for them in the 70s and 80s, so they run our offense down there and they run our defense, and it's not strange to them when they get up here with us. But you know, we've been here a long time. Jerry Lomanek, my defense coordinator, has been here 21 years. I've been here 21. Coach Rick Deal's been here 16. Coach Robinson's been here 17. So we've been here a long time.
When you take a look at your club, I was reading some thumbnail sketches of the players that Tommy Thompson prepared for us, and one of the kids that is starting now as an 8th grader you thought maybe never would play, and in a program like you have, I think this happens frequently, doesn't it?
Well, the good thing about our kids, you know, you can't look down in the 9th grade. I may have said that, or as someone said it, I don't know, but where they can play in the 8th or 9th grade. But most of the time, if a kid will stay out, especially here, by the time he's a senior, he's going to be playing for us. If he'll go through 4 years of that stuff with me, he'll be playing most likely.
Bill, the wing T offense, you've run it for years. People talk about it all across the state in high school football. Tell us a little something about it and why you've stayed with it so long.
Well, we got the wing T. Darrell Ritchie, a long-time offensive coordinator here for like 15 years, brought it in. It's a wing T that was originated a combination of Forrest Evashevsky's wing T out of Iowa and Davy Nelson's wing T out of Delaware. And it's a combination of that. We first put it in as a kind of a surprise thing in 1972, and we had an awful lot of success with it, and we have kept with it, and it has really been good for us.
Best of luck tonight, Bill.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Should be a dandy here in Creek County, Bristow, as the mythical championship takes place at Bristow High School. Let's now join Don King up in the booth.
Thank you, JV, as we've just had the coin toss, and the hosting Purple Pirates have won the toss and elected to receive, and will go left to right on your screen against their arch-rival, the Sapulpa Chieftains. This high school football game, opening weekend, Creek County showdown between Sapulpa and Bristow, brought to you by Tulsa Votech. Find your future here. By Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center and Sports Medicine Center. And by Tulsa Cable Television, where we show the select. Welcome back to Hafer Field in Bristow, just off Route 66. Don King along with J.V. Haney, Director Roger Hess, Statistician Steve Scott, photographers Scott Blaker and Bob Vest, Engineer Dave McFadden. Certainly I haven't left anybody out. The Anchor Drive-In across the Route 66 highway, where we had some delicious hamburgers before the game. We're setting ready to go, J.V.
Several times, really, the mythical championship of Creek County, and I think we have to look very quickly at the work of Mike Province, the quarterback number 11 for Bristow, to see if he can pick up where Brent Scott left off.
This kick sails out of bounds at the 15-yard line, so we'll have a re-kick for Sapulpa. Aaron Williams, I believe, is the kicker. He was the kicker last year for the Chieftains, the starting tight end. Deep for the Bristow Purple Pirates, number 40, Ron Reed, 2-year starter at defensive and offensive halfback. And number 23, Travis Wyckoff, a 5'10", 175-pound sophomore who will play a lot on offense, especially at the halfback position. He played last year as a freshman. So after the 5-yard penalty against the Chieftains in their debut under Frank Grimm, we'll have a re-kick. It is 84, Aaron Williams, booting the football for the Chieftains in the white. From the 35-yard line, we're underway for the 1990 season opener for these two squads. It is taken inside the 10-yard line by Ron Reed. Up the middle, what a hole, and across the 20 to the 23-yard line.
Well, we get an opportunity real quickly to look at this wing T offense that Bill Scott has at Sapulpa. It's really, or rather at Bristow, it's talked about all across the state. Those who have tried to run it always come back to Bill and study, but they will run it and run it flawlessly.
The running backs are Reed and Freddie Hall, 32. They returned from last year. The quarterback again, and this is a new one, Mike Province. Hands off to Freddie Hall, and he's got a first down on the first play of the game across the 30 to the 33 for 11 yards.
Freddie Hall demonstrated right there just exactly what a power runner he is. He's a 2-year starter at Bristow, at 5'11", 218 pounds. Excellent student, power runner.
24 touchdowns last year, 22 on the ground, and he was our player of the game last year in the Bristow-Glenpool win. Ron Reed out of the wing tee, close to the 40-yard line. Dave Thomas, tonight's referee, will mark the ball at around the 37-yard line. That will be a gain of 4 for the senior running back.
Little misdirection in the backfield that you're going to see throughout the night. Wing team makes you think they're going left, and they'll come back right with it. And Ron Reed was a typical example on that last play.
Minute gone in the opening period from Bristow. Jam-packed, 3,000 people in the stands from Hafer Field, and Freddie Hall gets a great haul, scampers across the 40 to about the 42, 43-yard line. Mark it apparently at the 42 for 5 yards. It's 3rd down and a yard. Listen to all the people, and they've got 2 radio stations, a TV station. They're chattering away here in the press box.
You can see the offensive line in there go to work for Bristow. They come off the ball real well. They come off in perfect unison, and that's really typifies Bill Scott's program here at Bristow High School. They just keep coming, and they understand his terminology. They understand his rules. They play the same thing from the 4th grade through the 12th grade, and you won't find too many errors on the part of the Purple Pirates.
They don't beat themselves, huh?
They really don't. And, I always enjoy listening to coaches talk about his offense. They say it is so simple. I always come back, but it's so simple. Why don't you run it?
Third and just inches. Mike Province under center. Good snap. 1st down. Freddie Hall across the 45 to about the 46-yard line. Hall was named to the Sapulpa Herald All-Area Grid team. And why not? He ran for around 800 yards last year out of the fullback position.
Keith Nicholson and Rod Davis coming up from their defensive secondary positions. Actually, Nicholson's in there, the linebacker, making a good tackle on the last play.
Minute and a half gone in the opening period. The Pirates have had the ball ever since. There's the wing tee to work out of the wing back position across the 50. Into the Sapulpa territory is 23 sophomore Travis Wyckoff.
Very quick, very agile sophomore. His nickname is Head. Tommy Thompson really gave us some great thumbnail sketches of the Bristow team, giving us nicknames. And number 23 there, Travis Wyckoff, they call him Head.
The Pirates returning 8 starters off last year's team, and it was interesting how Bill Scott and his assistants have been here for a long time. Freddie Hall over the right side, this time not much, a yard, maybe 2. He was stopped in there by the Chieftains, number 77, and number 80, 77 being Aaron Austin, the nose guard, and 80 being defensive end Steve Brown. Both of them seniors. Hall has 4 carries quickly for 22 yards in this drive. It's been a time-consuming drive. They've marched off 2.5 minutes off the opening period clock. This is Hall again, close to the 45-yard line.
Hall really runs with authority. He took on Keith Nicholson, then the linebacker, and just really exploded on him coming through that left side.
He's just short of the 1st down. It's going to be 4th and 1. Now what do you do? Apparently they're going to go for it. Province gets the sign from Bill Scott, head coach and offensive coordinator Rick Dill. 4th and a yard. Let's see if they try to make Sapulpa jump offsides without the snap of the ball. Nope, they go for it. Freddie Hall, 1st down, Bristow. Good opening on that right side, JV. Finally stopped by Keith Nicholson, linebacker number 51.
And they do that so often. They just power right through there. They get great blocking. They slant down on their blocks and really do an exceptional job. And actually, the 5-4 almost turned into a 9-man line that time, but still they were able to pick up the 1st down.
8.5 minutes to go, opening period. Typical of the Pirates. Out of that wing tee, control the ball, run the time off the clock, and number 70 is premature from the snap. Senior, or should say center. No, I had it right the first time. Senior tackle Lawrence Hines.
And that's something that you don't see very often with the Bristow team. They don't make too many of those little mistakes like that, mental mistakes. And You'll notice that Bill Scott will be on him very, very quickly.
Sapulpa's won 3 of the last 5. As you see, the Chieftain fans have made their way either down the turnpike or Route 66. This place is packed. The Chieftains have won 3 of the last 5, including last year's season opener in the rain at Collins Stadium in Sapulpa, 17-0. There's the wing tee, reverse, and nothing doing that time, thanks to co-captain Darren Bell out of his defensive tackle position. Nice work.
Really a great play in there by Darren Bell, the 6-foot, 174-pounder. Read it well, pursued down the line, was able to tackle him from behind.
Loss of 3 on the play, back to the Chieftain 49, where it makes us 2nd and 18. We might have our first pass of the game. Province passed a little bit last year as the backup quarterback to Brent Scott. Wing off to the left. They fake to Wyckoff. He rolls out, pressure, throws to Wyckoff, caught to the line of scrimmage, 45-yard line, and wrestled out of bounds just inside the 45-yard line by number 51. That's Keith Nicholson again, 6-foot, 195-pound linebacker.
I think that time Mike really wanted Province, the quarterback, wanted to go downfield more, but wasn't able to find the receiver, who actually was open for momentarily about 20 yards downfield, but then he goes to his relief valve and still picks up a few yards.
Picked up 5 to make it 3rd down 13, as we have a momentary timeout. 67 for the Chieftains, had trouble with the shoe. That is Bell, who just made the last tackle. 3rd and long, 3rd and 13. Straight back, pressure over the middle screen. It looks good for Freddie Hall. It might be better than anticipated. Hall to the 20, to the 10. First down, Bristow.
Beautiful screen pass then. Beautiful execution on the part of the Bristow Purple Pirates. They really sucked the defenders in there, let them filter through, set up the screen on the left-hand side, and then it looked like Hall might make it, but 10 yards short.
Well, our crack statistician Steve Scott, says the pass to Hall good for 35. That is their 4th first down in this drive. It's 1st and goal just inside the Chieftain 10-yard line. Bristow, of course, winning state championships here. Nothing new. 14 district titles out of 17 years under Bill Scott. That's one of the reasons why. Freddie Hall, touchdown. What a drive by the state-ranked Purple Pirates.
To give a lot of credit in there to that offensive line, Roger Pinson, Lawrence Hines, Tyrone Barnett, Levi Dobrinsky, Mike Knight, all of them doing an excellent job in the line there, springing those backfield loose coming out of that wing T offense.
.6:55 on the clock, so they took 5 minutes off the opening period clock. Here's the extra point kick, straight ahead, and it is good for John Dowdy. He returns as a kicker. He's a 6', 180 junior. So we have our first break in the game. 5 minutes gone, and the Pirates, an impressive 78-yard march to take the lead. Dowdy, who kicked the PAT, will kick off to either 22, Kevin Dennison, or 32, Don Jackson. Both of them juniors. Dennison starts at cornerback, or at running back, and a backup cornerback. Jackson, also one of the starting running backs. There's the kick, taken into the goal line. Oh, they say he fumbled it. He's got to return it. Look at this hole. Nice run out close to the 20-yard line for 32. That is Donnie Jackson. Now that was a fumble, right, JV, and not a muff.
But I don't believe it ever got back into the end zone. If it had gotten into the end zone on the impetus of the kick, they would have brought it out, but they were not able to do so. I think he kept it out, so he decided to run. You know, a lot of times when this happens, the pursuit downfield for the tackle will overplay it, and we almost saw it that time. He almost skirted on the far side and was able to get free.
Appears to be at the 20-yard line, first down 10. Quarterback Johnny Bilby did not start last year, but played quite a bit. And a nice run to 22, Kevin Dennison. He got a nice hole, and he spins his way across the 25 to about the 26. 4-6, and he'll make it second down. 4 yards needed as 42 comes into the game. Bringing in a play, that is running back Corey Barton.
Kevin Dennison shows you the little man can still play some football. He's only 5'5", weighs 145 pounds, but he came through that line like he was a 190-pounder.
Well, the Chieftains lost a lot of players off a very successful 7-5 squad last year. You remember the game we did on Tulsa Cable in the playoffs, in which they took Washington to the wire 20-19 in the quarterfinals at Sapulpa. And a flag down on the tackle of Dennison across the 30. It's a first down at the 31-yard line. Let's see what the call might be from Dave Thomas and his crew.
You know, a lot of times in a game like this, Don, with the heat as bad as it's been today, and the kids get a little tired, errors may start creeping into the contest more so than it would under normal conditions, just simply because they get a little tired and lose their concentration.
So look at Bill Scott. 18th year as the head coach, almost 180 wins. That's almost 10 wins a season. That's impressive.
Oh, when you take a look at the coaching staff at Bristow, it's phenomenal. They've got 83 years experience total. And two of his assistants have been with him so long, it's just like three head coaches. Jerry Lominick has been here for 21 years, and Rick Dill has been here for 14 years. So along with Bill Scott, and he's been here as a head coach some 18 years, they really have it locked up.
First down at the 45-yard line, and I think procedure against the Chieftains. There's Johnny Bilby, 16, the Sapulpa quarterback. He was a starting safety last year for the Chieftains, backup quarterback. He takes over. We mentioned Province taking over for Brent Scott, who now is at Oklahoma State, but Province takes over for a fine passing left-hander, Dennis Revis, who's at Central State this year.
You know, in visiting with Coach Frank Grimm from Sapulpa, he feels like that John Bilby is just as good as Revis was last year. He is an athlete, plays center field on the baseball team, and was a defensive back last year, so he looks adequate in there.
Bilby to pass, fires under pressure, caught by Aaron Williams, and a first down, but not before he took a hit from Mike Province out of the safety position, as well as number 35, Freddie Hayes, out of the linebacker position. Williams, great catch, first down. That's nothing new for 84.
No, Aaron Williams, he's 6'1", 171-pounder, and with great leaping ability. He went up like he was going to dunk a basketball that time. Watched the ball right in his hands, held on to it long enough for a legal catch.
To the Bristow 44-yard line, a gain of 16 on the last play. Williams also a fine baseball player, like the quarterback, Bilby, who hands off to Jackson to the 40, shows some speed, a flag down, as Jackson is brought down by number 50, one of the co-captains, linebacker Levi Drabrinski.
And this contest might start to heat up a little bit about this point in here, Don. And keep in mind, both clubs come in very high emotionally, and this too can add to a couple of 3 errors a period.
There's a look at the Sapulpa sidelines.
Frank Grimm, the head coach over there, has a lot of experience. He's coached in Texas. As a matter of fact, I think he was in Port Arthur last year before coming back into the Tulsa area. He was head coach at East Central, head coach at Cassia Hall. He actually was a head coach at Edison High School, although he never got to coach. He took a job with Coach Dry out at University of Tulsa and went into the college ranks for several years.
First down, about 15. Bilby pressured, heads to the sideline, loses the ball out of bounds, and taking him out was 35 for the Bristow Pirates. That's Freddie Hayes, sophomore linebacker who played last year as a freshman. There's 52. Good look at Jeremy Davis, who is a class president for the seniors.
Bill Scott kind of pats Freddie Hayes on the helmet in there and giving him a word of encouragement there for the big sophomore, and he moves well for a sophomore.
Gain of 7. No. Gain of about 5. Make it second down, 11. Not much that time as they go straight up the gut. Gain of about 2 or 3. Dennison gets the call. So it'll bring up third down and 10. Sapulpa with their hands on the ball for the first time after Bristow marched 78 yards in 12 plays, took 5 minutes off the clock, and Freddie Hall scoring a 9-yard touchdown run after scoring 22 markers last year. And here's Sapulpa moving from their 20 now to the Bristow 43-yard line, where they have a third down and 10. And Bilby to pass, has a man open. Wilbury couldn't find him. Now fires, intercepted at the 31-yard line. Brian DeShazo with the Oski for the Pirates. Brian, a 2-year starter, 5'10", 170-pound senior.
Pass was intended in there for number 84. It looked like Aaron Williams, but he couldn't get the ball to him quick enough. Maybe that's simply because he's not a real tall quarterback and can't see over some of those linemen. You can't find that receiver when he is open.
He had a fine receiver, Will Berry, number 88, downfield, but was on the run and couldn't stop and throw it to him. 3:20 to go, opening period. Bristow with the ball and a 7-0 lead. About a yard there for the running back, 32. Freddie Hall.
Not much going in there that time. That interior line, defensive line for the Chieftains really buckled in and got after it. Interesting note that Frank Grimm gave me earlier in the week when we were talking to him about the telecast. And he's talking about his line, and 7 of his interior linemen are true Chieftains. They're of Indian heritage, and he says we're really Chieftains.
Province lets it out for the 45-yard line. It is caught and run out of bounds. On the tackle, Rodney Davis, and there's the catch by John Dowdy, tight end for the Pirates.
It was a good look at the ball right into his hands that time, and that's always interesting to me when you watch some of these high school kids catch the ball. So many times they don't concentrate on the ball coming in and get to hearing people around them, but not the case this time.
Gain up to the 48-yard line. That is the 4th first down for Bristow as Freddie Hall gets a big hole, and he scoots into Sapulpa territory to the Chieftain 46 for about 6 yards. But we might have a flag down. There's a look at Freddie Hall. What a ball player he is. Holding against the Pirates, according to Dave Thomas. Well, the reason we do the games is, of course, for our cable subscribers, but also to get the message across to be drug-free. And it's nice to know that these 2 high schools and 2 communities are very much involved, JB, in the anti-drug effort.
You know, that's something that communities that are not involved in it, Don, had better get involved in it. And it's always just refreshing to see the schools and the community actually becoming very interested in showing the kids they are concerned about the drug problem and encouraging them to say no.
First and about 13 from the 44-yard line. Province rolls to his left, batted in the air, and he catches his own pass and then fumbles.
Now that's going to be one for the scorekeeper to figure out in there.
6'5", 220-pound senior defensive end Bruce Warrington batted the ball into the air. Province caught it, continued to run, then fumbled the ball, and it's recovered by the Pirates. However, it's way short of the first down. He only got 3. I don't think I've ever seen that one before.
Well, Ray Ryans will be after Bruce Warrington out there, the big 6'5",
really,
and because of that stuff. Now that was just a perfectly legal stuff in basketball. He stuffed it right back down to him, except in football you can advance it.
Injured player is one of the co-captains, Mike Smith, for the Chieftains. Senior linebacker, there's Bill Scott. So it is 2nd down and 10 from their own 46, 47-yard line. Now they say, apparently the Chieftains have the ball. No, I'm wrong. Excuse me, the Pirates have the ball. And the running back who has the ball is rudely introduced by Craig Arthur, 6'4", 225-pound defensive tackle, and the Chieftain fans on the far side like it.
It was a great play in there by Arthur that time. He really just shucked the blocker and stepped right inside into the hole and made the tackle.
Loss of about 3. Third down and 12. Ball at the 45-yard line for the Pirates. Province, the pass, needing 10. Fires, incomplete. Intended for 86. Brian Pinson.
Good reaction on that play by the white-shirted Sapulpa Chieftains, really reacting to the ball, to the pass situation, and we're right on top of it.
And a penalty that will probably be declined by the Chieftains. Their co-captains tonight, quarterback Johnny Bilby, Mike Smith, starting linebacker, Keith Nation, offensive guard and nose guard, both sides of the ball. Darren Bell, defensive tackle. There's a look at Frank Grimm on the left there with the headset, saying decline the penalty. Frank used to coach, JB, a pro team in Tulsa before the Outlaws. I think they were called the Wranglers, and I, for the sake of me, can't come up with the name. They only lasted one, maybe 2 summers back in 1980-81. Frank was the coach at Cassia Hall at that time and elected to coach this professional team during the summer, and his quarterback was Dave Rader.
I remember, were they the Tornadoes? We had
Might have been the Tornadoes.
We had a group called the Tornadoes in there one time. Frank Grimm is really an excellent high school football coach with a great background. As we mentioned a few minutes ago, he worked with F.A. Dry at the University of Tulsa, went in and followed F.A. down to Texas Christian University, and then he came back, and I think he worked maybe 1 year under Hoot Gibson at the University of Tulsa. So he's had a great background, and then, of course, been a head coach before, worked under some great head coaches down in Texas, and looks like he's going to be settling in there at Sapulpa for some time.
Well, a timeout has been called. That gives us a chance to talk to you about the Eye of the Hurricane Network. The University of Tulsa delayed telecast. We'll have 4 delayed telecasts, or 3 delayed telecasts of 2U football games. Oklahoma State, we hope you're watching this on Saturday. If so, we invite you to stay tuned at 10:30 for the Oklahoma State Tulsa replay. If you're watching this on Sunday, you'll see 2 TU delayed home telecasts, October 13th and October 20th for the University of Tulsa against Louisiana Tech and Southwestern Louisiana. Province, the pass, incomplete on 3rd down. Wow, number 80 had his mitts all over it, and Steve Brown couldn't haul it in.
You take a look at those defensive ends. Steve Brown on one end and Bruce Warrington on the other, 6'2" and 6'5". Why, they pretty much contain that area of the field.
So after the 5-yard penalty, that made it 3rd down and 12. The pass incomplete, and we'll have our first punt of the game for the Pirates with just 1:17 to go, and Sapulpa just getting their hands on the ball now for the 2nd time. This punt is away. Caught at the 30-yard line by Corey Barton down the sideline. He's got room into Bristow territory and down to the Pirate 42, 43-yard line, and I think I saw a yellow marker come streaming across the field. It was a nice punt of about 25 yards.
It was just really a great effort in
35
by Barton. I thought he may have stepped out of bounds up there earlier, but if not, he was fighting for his life running down the sidelines and picking up about, what, 15, 20 yards if they give it to him on effort alone.
Well, Dave Thomas has the displeasure of trying to sort this out. I'm glad it's him and not me. You mentioned Frank Grimm, JB. Now it's Sapulpa after years at East Central and Cassia Hall and Edison. Personal foul against the Pirates. So mark off a little bit extra on the play. And that's going to move it to the Bristow 38-yard line. It is a 1st and 10 for Sapulpa with a minute to go, opening period. Jackson to the 25-yard line. Or excuse me, Kevin Dennison it is, 22. And a nice run by the 5'5", 145-pound junior running back. 13 yards gained and a 1st down, and that is Sapulpa's 4th first down of the game. Each team with 4 first downs in this wild contest. We've seen some offense in this one with 45 seconds to go, opening period. And they go to Dennison again. I think the flag, or I think the whistle had blown. And on the Brian Barnes there with the ball.
Great effort in there by 77, Roger Henson for Bristow. He broke through, got through the line, got his hands on the little fella in the backfield, but just couldn't quite hold on to Dennison, and Dennison was able to squirm loose. He's hard to get a hold of. He's got like a worm coming out of there. He's slick.
Bilby to put it upstairs. Now scrambles. He can do this very well. He can't get to the outside, however. On the tackle as the first period comes to a close. 33 for Bristow, Brian DeShazo. So our opening period has come to a close from Haferfield and Bristow, where the Purple Pirates got the season opening kickoff and went 78 yards to lead 7-0. Welcome back to Haferfield as we start second period action, and a big play for the Chieftains, trailing 7-0, but they have a 3rd and 1 from the Pirates 16. Bilby under center, only one running back. He sneaks up the middle and has the first down. Bilby from the 16 to about the 12 for 4 yards and a first down, the 5th of the night for Sapulpa.
I believe that's the first time we've seen them in a single running back set, and kind of spread him out a little bit and allowed Bilby to sneak it across himself and not risk handing the ball off and risk fumble and pick up the first down.
Dave Thomas is apparently checking somebody's equipment. You know, Bill Scott, JB, they said after his son Brent retired, or not retired, but graduated here, that Bill might retire, but that wasn't the case.
No, I think Bill Scott will coach for just as long as he finds it being fun and as long as he enjoys going to practice every day and, you know, visiting with him in the locker room before the contest tonight. But he was just as excited over this opener, I'm sure, as he was the first one he coached 22 years ago.
One running back, that's Dennison, who gets the call over the left side. Look at him hold on to the football, spin off a tackle, and drives his way to the 10-yard line. Gain of 2, maybe 3. See where they put the progress. There's a look at one of the trailers that's just out of the gates. Now, when I was a kid in high school and used to come over here to watch drum ride play over here in Bristow, people used to get on top of the trailers and watch the game for free.
That's been a long time ago now.
Yeah, that was quite a while ago, about 25 years ago. 2nd down 8 after the 2-yard gain from the 10-yard line. 8 yards needed for a first, 10 for the touch. Bilby rolls out, turns the corner, and gets nailed out of bounds. And Freddie Hayes applies the pressure, and that's going to be a sack on Bilby, back to about the 9. Well, we'll see where they mark it. He might have actually gained a little.
Freddie Hayes really reading that play very quickly, very well, and coming in with great speed in there, just a sophomore.
1 yard, says Steve Scott, makes it 3rd down 7 from the Bristow 9-yard line. So Sapulpa on the move, needing a touchdown to tie this contest in the second quarter. 3rd down 7, and the Chieftains have been able to convert on these 3rd downs. He's got room to run here, cuts it inside, gets tackled by DeShazo as he turns inside the 10-yard line to the 9, to the line of scrimmage, where it will be 4th down. And they're going to bring in Aaron Williams to kick a field goal. Williams is very adept at kicking field goals for the Chieftains, and Bilby will hold for him.
Well, I'm sure Frank Grimm wants to get on the board here in the first half. Well, you want to get on the board every time you get an opportunity. Don't pass it up. Especially
in the season opener. The kick might be wide. He hooked it. It is no good. And with 9:46 to go in the first half, the ball will come out to the 20, and the Pirates avert a bullet. Field goal try, 26 yards.
Had enough leg there to do it.
So the Pirates will take over. 1st and 10 at the 20. They've had the ball only 2 possessions, but they opened the game with a 78-yard drive in 12 plays. Freddie Hall scoring the game's only touchdown. Here's a flag down as Hayes crosses the 35. Freddie, another big running back. He's a sophomore. No, excuse me, that's Freddie Hall. That is Freddie Hall, who in this game, 8 carries, 39 yards, 5 yards a pop. Flag down against the Pirates, and Bristow's had trouble in the penalties. Of course, that's to be considered in the first game of the year. Expected, I should say.
Freddie Hall wants to pursue the field of medicine once he graduates from high school. And of course, he carries a 3.8 grade point average, and that certainly will allow him academically to pursue his interest there. But president of the student council here at Bristow High School, and been recruited by some Division I schools.
He's as good a linebacker as he is a fullback. And that shows you why he is a major college prospect. 1st and 20 from the 10. And he gets almost the 10 yards back in 1 carry. Up to the 19 for 9 yards. And now 9 carries, 48 yards for Freddie Hall.
Mike Province isn't showing the fact that he hasn't been a quarterback in 4 years. He's been an understudy the last 2. He's directing a good offense out there.
Directing traffic well. Freddie Hall again. Hit straight on by Keith Nicholson, who drops him. They needed 11 from the 19 to about the 23 for 4. Makes it 3rd down and 7. Hall was our player of the game last year in the Bristow win at Glenpool. And Hall went on to an outstanding season, as you see the Bristow fans here at Hafer Field.
Good crowd tonight.
Hall had 22 touchdowns last year. On the ground, 2 by catching the ball. Here's a throw that's intercepted at midfield. Well, that might have been an ill-advised throw, but not for Corey Barton, number 42 for the Chieftains. Barton, 5'8", 160, senior starting safety, makes the grab, and the Chieftains get the ball right back after the missed field goal.
A good move in there by the defensive secondary. They reacted real well, but of course, when the quarterback kind of off balance and slipping, he didn't get the zip on the ball that he wanted to.
Great field position at the Bristow 48-yard line with 8:14 to go before halftime. I trust that J.V. Haney will have a halftime guest.
Don will be visiting with Dr. Warren Carmichael, the superintendent of schools here at Bristow Public Schools, a longtime friend of mine and a great football coach in his own right years ago at Pryor.
He's the superintendent. Bill Stevens, the fine principal here at Bristow High School. Athletic director Charles Nicholson, the head coach Bill Scott, Tommy Thompson, who does their statistics, a lot of publicity, and a counselor at Bristow High School. Appreciate those gentlemen and their assistants here at Bristow. As 22, Kevin Dennison gets the call. He's the leading rusher for Sapulpa, 7 carries, 36 yards, as he gains 2 here to make it 2nd down and 8. Look for Williams, 84. He caught a big pass earlier. And Will Berry, 88, wide receiver to the bottom of your screen, hasn't caught a pass yet. Here they go the other way. Incomplete. Incomplete. Intended for number 4, Brian Barnes, senior wide receiver whose dad, Mike Barnes, played at Sapulpa High School. It's kind of interesting to go through this Sapulpa roster and see some fathers that I grew up watching play.
Well, when you coach as long as Bill Scott has, you know, he's seeing these kids that he coached against their father. He may have coached fathers whose sons are playing for him now or playing at Sapulpa. He's seen all of them come and go.
3rd down, 8 yards needed for the 1st down from the Bristow 46. He has time here, but not a receiver, and gets nailed by Freddie Hayes. Or not Hayes, but Brian DeShazo. 5'10", 170 senior linebacker. Boy, the Bristow secondary's done a good job because Bilby can fire the football, but he has not been able to find too many open receivers up to this point. After the 3-yard gain, makes it 4th and 5.
And he was really smart on that last play by not going ahead and tucking it and try to make it yourself, because don't throw it if you're not sure.
Back to punt is Will Berry. He's also a fine tennis player, one of the better tennis players in the state. And he launches one inside the 5, into the end zone, and out of bounds, out of the end zone line. Nice punt by 43 yards for Will Berry, his first punt of the year.
Not only did it have good distance on it, great hang time in there. I didn't think it was coming down.
So a break in the action with 6.5 minutes to go, 2nd period, and the Pirates still lead this one 7-0. 6.5 minutes to go before halftime. 1st and 10 from the 20 for Bristow and Freddie Hall. Hall is 11th carry already in the game. From the 20 up to the 26 for 6 yards. Second down 4 from the 26 upcoming for the purple-clad Bristow Pirates. Defending district champions, made it to the quarterfinals last year in 3A, going 10-2. Second and 4. Province. Travis Wyckoff has the first down and more. Across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Brought down by 84 Aaron Williams.
Good downfield blocking that time by Levi Dobritsky. He really got out. Number 50 got down and sprang him loose for about 5 more yards, but very active offensive lineman.
Gain of about 10. Makes it first down at the 36-yard line.
Don, you mentioned Tommy Thompson a second ago. We're also going to try to visit a few minutes with him about some program that he's helping the people here in Sapulpa do to help, or Bristow, to help the football program.
Freddie Hall slant off tackle for a yard, maybe 2. There's a good look at the well-lit Hafer Field in both squads. Sapulpa's Frank Grimm, who retained the previous staff at Sapulpa under Tom Strode. A lot of the assistants at Sapulpa have been there a long time, and he even added another assistant, Chris Jackson. Hall gained a yard up to the 37, second and down 9. Reed in motion, they give it to Reed. Flag down, Reed down across the 45, close to midfield at the 48, 49-yard line. After the 12-yard gain, let's see what the call will be from Dave Thomas. And it will be motion, illegal motion against the Pirates. We'll bring it back.
You know, we were talking about Frank Grimm's staff over there. Mike Barnes is his assistant head coach. Frank really kind of takes care of the offense, but he has to have someone there that can kind of act in his capacity. Mike Barnes fills that, and then Dan Smith is the defensive coordinator. Dan was there under Tom Strode. Very excellent defensive coach, and Frank says he just turns the defense over to him, and he knows that it's going to be run and run right. He doesn't have to mess with it, and that's a compliment when a head coach will give his assistants that type of responsibility and let them work.
Second down long for the Pirates, and Mike Province, who is an impressive 4 out of 7 passing for 58 yards, even though his last 3 have been incomplete. Here, Wyckoff can't get a block. Look at the white shirts. Oh, that right there shows you the rivalry between these two schools and these two communities.
And Dusty Gowdy was the first, number 30, to make contact in there. Kind of an open field tackle. He wasn't able to get him down, but he was able to hold him and keep him up until the pursuit and help could arrive.
No gain, makes it third down 14 from the 32-yard line. Each team with 5 first downs in the contest as we approach the 4-minute mark left in the second period. Province, 2 running backs, wing off to the right. Fakes, throws deep, has a man, incomplete. Looking for Wyckoff, who had beaten his man downfield. Makes it fourth down from the 32-yard line. We mentioned Brent Scott, Bill Son, who, of course, recruited by many major colleges in the area. Decided to go to Oklahoma State instead of Tulsa. It's kind of surprising because Bristow really has had a pipeline to the University of Tulsa in recent years. Kelly Beasley, Steve Cook, who was a punter at TU. Both of those gentlemen, along with Kenny Cook, Steve's brother, all went to TU and played collegiately. And Harold Jones. This blocked partially across the 50 to the 40. And they'll down it at the 36-yard line, and that punt blocked partially by Dusty Gowdy. However, it's still not a bad punt of about 33, 32 yards.
You know, Brent Scott going to Oklahoma State University, Don, there were several quarterbacks who went to OSU this year. Maybe they were thinking that with Mike Gundy out of the picture that the quarterback position was wide open for the next 4 years and they could kind of get in on the ground floor, and maybe some valid thinking there.
Yes, sir. Timeout on the Pirate side of Bristow with 3.5 minutes to go. So we're taking a break from Creek County, just off historic Route 66 at Hafer Field, and we're coming back with more high school action on Tulsa Cable's TV3 after these words from our sponsors. Welcome back to Hafer Field in Bristow, where the Pirates lead Sapulpa 7-0. 3:23 to go before halftime. We'll pick up some halftime activities for you, including the Bristow Band and our interview with Dr. Warren Carmichael, the superintendent. While we have a chance, we'll take a look at the 3A District 5 voting, and you'll see where the Pirates, nothing unusual, Bristow expected to win the thing.
You know, that's just kind of an automatic. I'm sure when the coaches get their ballot form to vote on the district champion, they just immediately write Bristow in there because they've won so many. But, you know, that's a pretty tough district in there when you look. Cushing, Craig, and Manford, and John Whitborn has really brought the Pirates along over at Manford, and they're always contending for a playoff position in there. Had Chandler, Perkins, Meeker, and Kellyville, and Kellyville's had some good ball clubs recently. Not a bad district, but one that you would have to pick Bristow to win.
So the Chieftains get the ball back. Kevin Dennison gets the call again and scampers across the 40 to about the 43. Gain of about 7.
The little junior may be finding more playing time available if he continues to run the football like he's been doing it so far.
Second down, about 3 from the 43. Well, 2 maybe. Sorry, Steve Scott said 8. I'll give you 8. Second and 2 then. Dennison hit behind the line this time. Roger Pinson. Nice play, and 86 getting up off the pile. Brian Pinson.
Great defensive effort in there by Pinson and the Pirates coming off the line.
Loss of a yard makes it 3rd down 3 from the 43. As 25 checks in for the Chieftains with a play. That's Karama English, 6 foot, 170-pound junior running back. Bilby straight back, quick drop, fires, complete, first down. Sapulpa to the Bristow 45-yard line. The ball caught by Brian Barnes, who JV mentioned his father Mike, one of the assistant coaches here at Sapulpa. And there's a look at the Chieftain fans who made the 15-minute drive over from Sapulpa, which is the Creek County headquarters, or not headquarters, but Creek County seat.
Looks like the secondary for Bristow maybe is loosening up just a little bit here as we wind down the first half, maybe going to give them a short gainer, but not giving anything deep.
After the 8-yard pass, he throws to Will Berry, who scoots his way down to the 35-yard line. First catch to Will Berry.
And you could see some good open field tackling out there that time. I believe it was number 84, Eric Sneed for Bristow, the senior 155-pounder, really kind of broke it down, zeroed in on him, and wasn't about to let him get by.
Minute 46 to go, however, bring the play back. It is deleted after a penalty against the Chieftains, and that's got to hurt their momentum here before halftime, because an 8-yard run by Dennison, then an 8-yard pass and a 10-yard pass. So the Chieftain momentum has been thwarted at least a little bit, as the penalty is called there by Dave Thomas, marks out the 10-yard play and moves them 5 yards back just inside their own territory. 1st and 15. Clock continues to run at a minute 35. Sapulpa trying to tie this up before halftime. Over the middle, tip, and I don't think he caught it, did he? Let's see. No, incomplete. Nice try by the senior tight end, Aaron Williams.
Good call by the official. It looked like maybe he kind of scooped it in, but it hit the ground. And you can always tell most of the time, we talk about this in all high school sports, that kid will let you know if you call it right.
We talked about the fine Bristow players in the past that are playing collegiately. Boy, Sapulpa had a lot of players off last year's team go on to college ball. 2nd and 15 from their own 49. Bilby with the screen pass. Complete to 50, to the 50, Dennison to the 40, and a flag down as Kevin Dennison goes down into the arms of number 11, the safety Mike Province. And Bilby's having some night passing. Before that pass, he was 2 for 5. Now 3 for 6 if the penalty stands, but according to Roger Pinson, the Bristow captain, they're going to bring it back because of the clip.
normally you don't see that many screen passes. That's, gosh, about 4 or 5 we've seen here in the first half, and that normally is something that is not put in right at the beginning of the season because it takes some great timing, and you just don't see it this soon most of the time.
In fact, about a 6-yard penalty as far as a net moves it back to the 43, where it will make it second down and 22 yards. With 1:10 and the clock running, Sapulpa needs to pull something out of the blue helmet. They need some magic here. From Hafer Field in Bristow, and Johnny Bilby fires to Barry, slant in, and Barry dropped at the 40-yard line. And the Bristow player who made the great open field hit on Will Barry is shaken up. However, he gets back up, and that is 84, Eric Sneed, with the cornerback position, 2-year starter. And the Chieftains call timeout with 50 seconds left, and Frank Grimm, as you see, and coming out to talk to his quarterback, Johnny Bilby, who's having a good first half. A 17-yard pass, incidentally, short of the first down, makes it 3rd and 4 from the Bristow 40-yard line. We mentioned about the Sapulpa players. Just mentioning about some of their players from last year going on to college. We mentioned Revis, last year's All-State quarterback, now at Central State. Safety Walter Sloan, now at Missouri Southern in Joplin. Fine lineman Wendell Boland, now at Friends University in Wichita. David Carney, Northeastern State, as well as Paul Lane and Quincy Jackson off last year's team, playing collegiate. There's a look at the state championships, the district titles, the bottom 2 or 3 lines here in Bristow. You know, Bristow, JB, one of the things I'm impressed about in this Creek County community is the community and the downtown area has been able to survive despite the hard economic times hit this county due to the oil production. Bristow has really been able to maintain an esprit de corps that you don't see in other communities in this county.
Really just amazes you, and I have, you know, a number of friends down here. Dr. Chip Cooper, who's the team physician here for the Pirate Athletic Program, just a tremendous individual. Kel Kelly at the bank, and of course Tommy Thompson, Bill Stevens, and Bill Scott. Just a great crew down here, and it's always a pleasure to come and work with them.
Bilby, pressure, can't get it away, and he's dropped by 86. John Dowdy, is it 88 or 86?
I believe it was 86 in there.
86 with the tackle, Brian Pinson. And that's a big sack on 3rd down and 4 with 33 seconds left before halftime. Moves the ball back to their own 45, loss of 5, makes it 4th down and 9.
Brian Pinson there is, of course, the brother of Roger Pinson, and sometimes they call him Little Roger, but he weighs over 200 pounds. He's 6'4", and he's going to be some football player before he gets through at Bristow High School.
Another timeout called with 33 seconds to go. There is Bill Scott, who just gave up his presidency with the Oklahoma Coaches Association. After his 1-year term, he gave the reins over to Bartlesville's Mickey Ripley. Bill, of course, has done about all there is to do in the coaching fraternity here in the state of Oklahoma. JV, he's coached in the All-State games. He's done about all.
He's a member of the Oklahoma High School Coaches Hall of Fame and will be the president of the organization. He is the president now. He took over this past.
He took over this past August.
This past August, and he will be the president for the coming year when it goes back to Tulsa. And Bill has visited at length with a number of us in Tulsa, wanting to make it the best convention ever. And of course, that's Bill Scott. He wants his football team to be the best team that they possibly can be, and looking forward to seeing him in Tulsa quite a bit.
I beg your pardon. I said he preceded Mickey Ripley. He has succeeded Mickey Ripley. Okay. This pass off the fingertips of Williams. Pressure applied by Bristow. Looked like number 50, Levi Durbinski, or no, 52 it was, Jeremy Davis. Boy, the Pirate defense, they have been applying some pressure to the Sapulpa quarterback.
You know, we were talking just a second ago about Brian Pinson at 6'4" and over 200 pounds now. The doctors think that he may grow as much as 4 more inches. So if he does that, he is going to be one big high school football player. And strong.
First and 10 from the 45. This should be about our last play of the half. A half that has seen Bristow lead 7-0 throughout when they got the opening kickoff and marched 78 yards in 12 plays. And this pass batted in the air, caught. No gain on the play, maybe a yard lost as Keith Nicholson made the tackle on number 84 for the Bristow Pirates, Eric Sneed. Loss of a yard.
Kind of surprised that they passed on that particular down. I thought that they'd be pretty content just to go on in with a 7-0 halftime lead and not worry about trying to lose it here in the closing seconds, being greedy, trying to get another one. But maybe they saw something that we didn't see.
Second down, 9 from the 44. 22 seconds to go. Here's Freddie Hall. Man, he is tough. Across the 50, clear down to the Sapulpa 40-yard line. That's a gain of 16. And a flag down could very well be a penalty against Sapulpa. It stops the clock with 15 seconds left.
Looks like piling on that they're going to take the ball on down there. They could get in 15 seconds now. They could get in field goal range here with one more play.
6th first down for Bristow in this contest. Sapulpa has 5 first downs. A lot of penalties in this affair. Of course, that's to be expected with the season opener. Moves it down to the 25-yard line from the 40. So it's another first down. They're 7th of the night for Sapulpa. 1st and 10 at the Sapulpa 25-yard line. Timeout, and we'll come back to watch the final 15 seconds as high school football continues from Bristow. So with 15 seconds left, a first down, 10 yards needed for Bristow, but they elect to go for a field goal from Dowdy. This will be about a 34-yarder. It's blocked. They can pick it up and score. Oh, he boots it way downfield. 8 seconds, 7, 6, 5, 4. Time called with 4 seconds left.
Some great action in there. I mean, the entire line of Sapulpa, I couldn't see which one actually got the block, but they came from every direction, and now they could have kicked that ball on down the field, recovered in the end zone.
It looked like Bruce Warrington was the guy that did the Dave Casper trick and booted the ball about 20 yards further downfield. The ball is at the 25-yard line of Bristow. It was at the other 25-yard line. After the block punt, it moves 50 yards downfield the other way, and the clock stops with 4 seconds. Now what's Sapulpa do after they have called their final timeout of the first half?
Well, I think they've got to go. They have 4 seconds. They're going to try a field goal themselves. Maybe Bristow will block it and take it back the other direction, but no wind tonight. The flag is just about as limp as it can be on the flagpole, so that's not going to help them going either direction. And a few minutes ago, the Sapulpa kicker, Don, looked like he was strong enough that he could get it there if he could just be accurate enough to get it through the uprights.
Well, he kicked some field goals last year and was very impressive in the kicking game in 1989. Very early in this second period, he missed a 26-yard field goal. The Chieftain fans are buzzing about that one. The thing about Sapulpa, win or lose, good teams or mediocre teams, they bring some fans with them, as well as Bristow. So Williams in pregame, JB, he was hitting the 40-yard field goals. This one, should he try a field goal? Not sure yet. The ball at the 25, this would be about a 42-yarder. And he was booting them from here, but they're not going to go for the field goal. Brian Barnes to the far side. Will Berry to the near side. 1 play left, 4 seconds before halftime. Bilby back, has time, had time, and is dropped. Dowdy with the sack. I think they'll call the play down. They do, and that takes care of the second period from Bristow. So a sack for John Dowdy and the Bristow Pirates, who right now, through 24 minutes of play, are leading their arch rival from Creek County, the Sapulpa Chieftains, by a count of 7-0. And when we come back, we'll recap the first half and pick up some halftime activities from Bristow.
Dr. Warren Carmichael, Superintendent of Schools at Bristow Public Schools, our guest at halftime. And Dr. Carmichael, as we look around the state in football and athletics really in general, we find so many communities are not supporting their athletic teams, not supporting the school activities. That's not the case in Bristow, is it?
Absolutely not, JV. Of course, as you know, you've known our program a long, long time, and we've had excellent fan support. But I think this year, even in Bristow, we expect good support, but this year, as we started our school year out, during our in-service week, we had 3 of our churches that provided dinner for the teachers 2 days at noon, and then one provided a breakfast, continental breakfast for us. And I'm sensing a greater awareness, I think, of probably 1017 as a result of some of this, how important education is in today's economy.
Now, you mentioned 1017. That's the education bill that was recently passed. I don't know where I understand it. I'd like for you to explain it to me and to our viewing audience, just exactly what it is.
JV, we don't have that long to explain the whole thing. And the gist of it is, and I think is where we're coming from, is there has been extra dollars put into education. And this is so vitally important because when you look at the per capita expenditure, we're way below the regional average. And what I'm sensing is that the business community, and I'm going to say especially in northeast Oklahoma, have really gotten behind this, and people like George Singer, which our audience will be very familiar with. I think those people, in my last conversation with George, he just says, we're not going to go away. We are going to see that businessmen, and I think the alliance that we're seeing right now between business and education is so vital to the economy of the state of Oklahoma.
Dr. Carmichael, you can look around Bristow Public Schools and see the amount of work that you, your staff, and the community have put into education, and I think it's very obvious that it's extremely important to the community in Bristow.
Well, thank you, JV. You're being kind to us, and we appreciate those words. I think one of the things, as you look at our athletic program, and you have been, again, familiar with this, and look at our coaching staff, have been here almost 20 years together. As I look each year, we may have a 10% turnover in staff, but normally our staff is very stable through it, and it speaks well for the reception of education. It means that the people have a great expectation of education and a high support for it.
Thanks a lot for joining us at halftime.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Dr. Warren Carmichael, Superintendent of Schools, Bristow Public Schools, our guest here at halftime.
Here's the kick from John Dowdy. That name's very familiar to Bristow football fans. The Dowdy family has produced some gridsters. This punt, or the kickoff rather, is muffed by 22 Kevin Dennison.
Kevin Dennison really the smart thing by just falling on the football. So many times a youngster will try to pick that up and run with it, especially a sophomore maybe or a junior. You don't expect a senior to do it, but when they're trying to pick it up, about the time they get their hands on it, they get separated from it. So it's a smart play in there by Kevin Dennison.
Well, the years that Bristow has won, the past few years, they've won this season opening rivalry. They've done it by shutouts. And they lead Sapulpa 7-0 as we start the third period from the 16-yard line. Bilby hands off to the speedster Dennison, and boy, he shows some moves there. Nice work by the 5'5", 145-pound junior running back.
You know, when you see a little fellow like that play and run as hard as he does, it's obvious no one has told him he only weighs 145 pounds. I'm sure that Coach Grimm's probably been telling him, hey, son, you weigh 175 pounds, so go out there and run the football.
Second down and a yard needed after the 9-yard gain by Dennison as Bill Scott looks on. Bilby barks out the signals. Nicholson, the center, leads the way, and Dennison leads the way for Sapulpa to a first down. I think I mentioned Nicholson, the center. The center is Alan Griffith, who wasn't expected to play too much. Senior lineman, got hurt recently, but he's in there, and Dennison picks up, as I mentioned, the first down. That's the 6th of the night for Sapulpa.
Coaches always like to have their teams come out and really put on an impressive drive, at least leave the field on this first possession with great field position for their defensive team if they don't score.
Dennison again slips a tackle and breaks close to a first down. We have a flag down as Dennison goes down at the 36, 37-yard line. That's close to a first down. But let's see what the flag is.
I believe we had a face mask in there, Don.
Freddie Hall says no, it's holding, and Dave Thomas agrees with him. The referee Oh, that hurts after a nice 10-yard gallop by the junior running back, Kevin Dennison.
There's some great blocking in there by that left offensive line, left side of the offensive line for Sapulpa.
We mentioned the loss of Sapulpa last year of quarterback Dennis Revis, who's now at Central State. I mentioned Quincy Jackson, who was our player of the game in the 20-19 quarterfinal loss to Washington in the playoffs last year. Another running back comes to mind that played very well last year for Sapulpa, Chris Hayes. He was a fine ball player for the Chieftains. Fake to Dennison. Bilby sacked behind the line. Roger Pinson with the fine play.
Roger Pinson, number 77. Number 77, Roger Pinson defensively for the...
So it'll be another loss, and the Chieftains, who were moving, now back inside their 20-yard line, back at about the 18.
Big right tackle.
So they've got second down and about 20, maybe a little more than 20. Bilby needs to fire one, does so, and drop. Will Berry, very sure-handed, had his mitts all over that one and couldn't hang on. It might have been, would not have been enough for a first down unless he had broken a tackle.
And Ron Reed, the defensive secretary over there for Bristow, really had that one diagnosed. If he'd have caught it, I'm afraid he may have separated him from his shoes.
Coming out of the game for Sapulpa, David Seamus, sophomore safety, who also plays on the basketball team. Third down, 20 needed. Bilby airs it out this time, tipped, caught. Williams, what a grab. He's still on his feet to midfield. Down to the 40, to the 30. What a play by the senior tight end, Aaron Williams. 6'1", 170-pound senior.
And really, that's just a great run in there. You could see when he stiff-armed number 40, Ron Reed, to pick up about 7 or 8 more yards. Just a tremendous effort. And about the time it looked like the Bristow defense had held and was going to be able to get the ball in good field position, why they reversed into the field, and now it's Sapulpa on the roll.
Big play, 52 yards, first and 10. Down to the Bristow 30-yard line. 2.5 minutes gone, third period. Boy, that really helps the Chieftains, and now we have a whistle on the play. Dennison's dropped at the line of scrimmage. What a play by Williams.
You know, that's that old tipping drill. He just kept tipping it and finger rolling it until he finally brought it down, but he stayed with it and concentrated on the ball. Never give up on it.
Call by Thomas, offsides, encroachment against the Chieftains, cost them 5. That tip drill, JV, that tip by Williams, reminds me of our high school schedule that's coming up. And you see the schedule of games coming up next week, and September 18th, volleyball. Aaron Williams put him on the volleyball team.
Girls volleyball, that's true, and that's going to be a delight. You want to have Jinx and Kelly, and eventually I think Broken Arrow is going to be involved in it. So 2 great volleyball events coming up.
Also, we've got wrestling coming up this year to complement our high school basketball schedule, as well as swimming. I guess it's boys wrestling, not girls, right?
Yes, Don, that's boys grappling.
Okay.
You mentioned next week 2 great rivalries when we have Washington and McLean. The Northside Championship always is declared by the winner of that game, and then Holland Hall and Cassia Hall. And Cassia Hall in a big game here this weekend in their first game of their season when they play Broken Bow. 2 state champions colliding.
Second down, 11 after the 4-yard gain by Corey Barton. Look out, sack time. Wow. 53, Tyrone Barnett. 2-year starter out of the defensive tackle position, and the 6', 200-pounder makes the big play on Bilby. That's the 4th sack of the night on the Sapulpa quarterback.
And he just really fought off Chad Durison in there from Sapulpa and was able to get in the backfield and get the sack. Just a great effort in there by the Pirates.
Loss of 12, 4 sacks, and a loss of 33 total yards on the sacks tonight. Third down, 23 after Sapulpa had it, down to the Bristow 30. But a penalty and a sack have moved them backwards. They go forwards on the pass, and an incomplete pass. And a diving try by 42. for the Chieftains, Corey Barton. Nice try.
Yes, Travis Wyckoff, the little 5'10", 175-pounder, number 23 for Bristow, was right back in there covering and had good coverage.
Well, Will Berry will drop back to punt. You will remember his last punt, his only punt of the game, in the first half was from the other side. Well, he's punted twice in this game. No, I beg your pardon. His last punt about 43. This one fair catch, fumble, and the Chieftains have the ball. On the recovery, 25, Karama English, 6', 170-pound junior, and the Chieftain fans like it, and they smell pay dirt now.
It looked like number 40, Ron Reed, was one signaling for the fair catch, and I think his teammate bumped him from behind just about the time the ball reached him and forced the fumble in there. I'm sure his teammate didn't realize he had signaled for the fair catch. Maybe he was coming for the ball himself.
The ball at the 20-yard line. A 25-yard punt. It was high, and Dennison. Not much doing. Roger Pinson, 77 on the tackle for Bristow. 53, Tyrone Barnett gets up off the pile, as well as number 50, one of the co-captains, linebacker Levi Debrinsky. Dennison, the leading carrier for the Chieftains, 12 carries, 54 yards. And that time, nothing doing. Maybe a gain of about a foot. So let's say 2nd down and 10. Still remaining for first.
Really a big series here for Sapulpa.
The pass, it is incomplete, intended, I believe, for Berry. Eric Sneed recovery, or on the coverage, I should say, for Bristow. So after the pass incompletion, makes it 3rd down. We looked earlier in this broadcast at Bristow's district preview, and we'll try and get Sapulpa and the teams they play in their tough district, like Booker T. Washington, Enid, Stillwater, and see how the coaches voted before the season. Boy, the Chieftains, win or lose this game, they look like they might be state ranked before the season's over. Bilby on 3rd down, over the middle, caught, touchdown, Dennison. And a flag down. We've got a flag down on the play in the secondary, and according to the Sapulpa quarterback, Bilby, it might be a late hit on the quarterback after the pass, because he was doing the jive work after the touchdown. Let's see. Personal foul, yeah, roughing the passer. It's declined, and an extra point kick might tie this game. What a pass. And Dennison was wide open, Coach.
Oh, he really was. He came out in the backfield and kind of ran a little curl pattern, and it was kind of a delayed situation and just opened up right over the middle, and I'm sure there was a defensive breakdown there in the defensive secondary for Bristow, allowing him to get in there, but a great play, great execution by the Chieftains.
Williams, one of the better kick scorers in the area last season, boots this one up and through. And we have a tie game with 6.5 minutes to go. Midway in the 3rd period from Bristow, and the Chieftains get a break and turn it into 7 points. Welcome back to Bristow's Hafer Field, where the Sapulpa Chieftains have tied this game at 7 after getting the opening 3rd quarter kick, driving to the Bristow 43, having to punt. The punt return was fumbled. Sapulpa recovered, and on 3rd and 10, Bilby hits Kevin Dennison for a 20-yard touchdown pass, and then kicks the extra point by Aaron Williams to tie the game. This one is inbounds. Boy, he didn't want to go down. Ron Reed, however, goes down at about the 15-yard line.
This is a big series now coming up for the Pirates, even though there's a lot of time left in the ball game, 6:27 here remaining in the 3rd period, but they need to get some more points on the board, and more importantly, they need to get the ball out of their end of the field and up the field a little ways, at least for an exchange of possession. They'd have better field position.
Great rivalry between these two schools, two teams, communities. First down from the 15, Providence hands off Freddie Hall, and he's popped. Boy, the defense of Sapulpa now comes alive a little bit. This is the first time in this third period with 6:13 to go that Bristow has had the football.
And this could be the fact that we were talking earlier, Don, that where Bristow is rotating people playing both ways, that Sapulpa has basically a defensive and offensive unit, and it just might beginning to wear down a little bit on Bristow.
Good point. Quarterback is Province. He's had a good game for his first start in his varsity career. He's a senior. Fake and a give up the middle to Wyckoff, I believe. Might be Freddie Hayes. Let's see. Freddie Hayes. Nope, Wyckoff, 23.
And he really came back through there on a misdirection play again, and that's just a great execution of the wing T offense.
Marked the ball at the 22 after a 6-yard gain. Makes it 3rd down and 3. 5:15 to go, third period. Score tied at 7. Each team has missed a field goal in this game as Freddie Hall gets the call, and he lumbers up to the 25 for about 3, and that's what they needed for a first down. We'll see where they mark it. It appears to be just a little bit short. We'll see if they want to measure. Apparently not.
No, I don't think Bill Scott's going to gamble down this far at this particular point in the game. He's going to kick it out of there.
Back to punt for the Bristow Pirates is John Dowdy. Dowdy does all the kicking for the Pirates. This is the second punt of the game. Kevin Dennison, 22. Back for Sapulpa, as well as 42, Corey Barton. 2 punts tonight for Bristow's John Dowdy. We have a penalty on the play, and with a yard needed, this could be something here. Encroachment against Sapulpa. So give the Pirates a first down. Ouch, JB.
And I believe that was kind of designed to draw them off sides that time. A good play, good execution, if that was what happened, or if one of the Sapulpa Chieftains maybe just got a little over anxious and trying to get in there.
That's the 8th first down of the game for the Pirates, for the Purple Pirates. Sapulpa on the night has 7 first downs. So it's first down from the 29-yard line. For Mike Province, senior quarterback, taking over for Brent Scott, who's now at Oklahoma State. Fine running backs out of the wing T. 32, Freddie Hall. He's the leading rusher in the game. This is 35, Freddie Hayes, who played last year as a freshman. Now a sophomore at 5'11", 215 pounds. He crosses the 30-yard line and slams his way to the 34 for a gain of about 4 yards.
One of the Bristow fans told me an interesting story before the game. I don't know whether it's true or not, but I can repeat it. You know, they canceled this series for a period of time there when they closed the railroad, because the fans rode the railroad back and forth from Bristow to Sapulpa, and then recently, about 12 years ago, they renewed the rivalry.
Freddie Hall knocks down his teammate. However, it's in good stead because he falls for a first down after knocking down 86 Brian Pinson out of the tight end position. And Freddie Hall gets another first down for the Bristow Purple Pirates as he gains 8 yards on that last carry, and he has on the night 85 yards rushing.
And it looks like the Pirate offense has kind of rejuvenated itself here in this drive.
Good point. I was just going to mention as Wyckoff gets it out of the wing T into the secondary, into Sapulpa territory, down to the Chieftain 44-yard line after a gain of 15.
And the little fella coming out of that slot area is really quick and can turn it upfield and pick out a crease and get right in it and go.
And the Pirate cheerleaders like it. First down from the Sapulpa 44. Just going to say, boy, that's a mark of a good team with some character when you get scored upon after you make a mistake and come right back and drive from your 15 to the Sapulpa 44. First down play. They fake the reverse. Province gets by. A clip will be called, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for 82, I believe it is. Or 87 it might be. 87, Russell Brown, just a freshman. The big freshman at 6 foot 205. We'll see if they take the penalty, either be holding or clipping against Bristow.
They're going to have a holding call on him. But it really looked like a clip from behind. I guess ultimately the yardage is the same. So
take your pick.
Yeah, whichever way you want to go with it.
Probably did both. Now they decline the penalty. Pass incomplete makes it 2nd down 10. Oh no, they take the penalty. I beg your pardon. So it is 1st and 20. Up the middle, Freddie Hall, and he gets about 2 or 3.
Great tackle that time in there by Keith Nicholson.
He picked up about 3, it appears, from the 43 up to the 46. 2nd down and about 17 from their own 46-yard line. It's a good look at the Pirate offense, and nice, huge line they have, especially for Class 3A. Bad size. As Wyckoff goes in motion, gets the call, looks for a hole, finds it midfield, 45.
That's really been a successful play for Bristow. He comes from the right side, goes across, then cuts up field, and the little fellow can get in there, and he's hard to pick out.
7 carries, 38 yards after the 6-yard gain into Sapulpa territory. They officially mark it at the 48-yard line, where it is 3rd down and 11. A lot of people, well, not maybe a lot, but quite a few people work in Sapulpa, live in Bristow, and vice versa. So it's got to be kind of interesting. I'm sure there have been a few side bets made in these two towns during the week.
A lot of conversation goes on around plants and offices when these two teams play.
3rd down 11. Up the gut. Freddie Hall. His knee touches just inside the 45, probably 44. They'll mark it.
Going to be close.
He's going to need, well, they need 10 yards after that, so it's 4th and 10.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah, after the penalty.
Didn't see the other marker, John. It is a long way. Okay.
After the penalty. Freddie Hall's having some night. 17 carries already in the game, and we've got 42 seconds left in the 3rd period. John Dowdy to punt. Rush put on, almost blocked, flag down, roughing the kicker. Bearcats called for it, taken at the 10. But Bruce Warrington, who's had his hands on the football numerous times tonight, blocking some passes, almost blocked the punt. But in his attempt, he nailed the punter, Dowdy. And there might be yet another flag on the play.
Well, at any rate, that's going to keep the ball in possession of the Pirates and may give them an opportunity, Don, to go down and score. And if you recall, it was a break like that gave Sapulpa basically a second chance to get their drive started here in the 3rd period that allowed them to tie it up.
It is an automatic 1st down, 15-yard penalty. Marches the ball down to the Sapulpa 30-yard line. It's a 1st down. And boy, does that help Bristow's cause. That's their 11th 1st down of the game.
And there wasn't any doubt about roughing the kicker on him.
No, there was not. 30 seconds left before the end of the 3rd. Freddie Hayes gets blitzed. He gets punished by 4 white shirts.
What a great move in there by Craig Arthur. He was the one who led the way. 225-pound defensive lineman, just a junior, but he really came through and came through with authority.
Arthur in there, as well as Steve Brown, Bruce Warrington. That will take care of period number 3. This one up for grabs as we head into the final period from Bristow's Hafer Field. You're watching high school football on Tulsa Cable's TV3. Urges you to be drug-free. Welcome back to Hafer Field in Bristow. Don King, J.B. Haney, as we get ready to start the 4th and final period of a 7-7 game. And the Bristow Purple Pirates have the ball. 2nd down 11 at their own 31-yard line. Excuse me, at the Sapulpa 31.
And Bristow has the ability with their offense to run off time on the clock. If they could just go ahead and sustain this drive and get in there and score, they wouldn't have to get possession, but about one more time to really put it down into critical time situation for Sapulpa.
Providence hasn't passed but once in this 2nd half. He's 5-9 in the game. Ron Reed, who hasn't carried much, has a hole in it, closes in a hurry. Keith Nicholson comes out of his linebacking position, almost came out of his shoes, and he nails Reed at the 30-yard line. A gain of one, maybe, yeah, just a 1-yard gain. So it's 3rd down and 10. I was talking a minute ago about how a lot of people live in Bristow and work in Sapulpa and vice versa. Bristow's municipal judge, Mike Gibson, also serves as the city attorney for Sapulpa. Mike, a good friend, and I'm sure he's watching this game. And really, if you're the city attorney for the Sapulpa, but yet the municipal court judge for Bristow, it'd be pretty tough to root for one of these squads, wouldn't it?
You'd have to sit in the end zone, wouldn't you? Or go one half on one side and one half on the other.
3rd down, 10 yards needed from the Sapulpa 30-yard line. What's Province going to do? Goes upstairs, has 2 men down there, touchdown, Wyckoff dropped it.
Oh, he had his hands on it, but good coverage back in there for Sapulpa. Number 24, Rodney Davis, was, I thought possibly a pass interference call could be made because he was all over him, and then he kind of got loose, but Wyckoff just couldn't quite hang on to it.
The junior wingback couldn't hang on to it. 4th down, 11:03 to go. We'll see what Bristow decides to do. Apparently they're going to go for the 1st down.
No one regrets that as much as Travis Wyckoff does.
This is Bristow, still their first possession of the 2nd half. They started this drive at the 15, now to the Sapulpa 30. This is the 13th play of the drive. Blitz is on, he gets it away and throws it incomplete on 4th down. Nice call by the defensive coaches for the Sapulpa Chieftains on 4th and long, and Province is shaken up a little bit.
You know, they were able to get that screen pass a few minutes ago, but Bruce Warrington, the big 6'5" defensive end that time, certainly diagnosed it, and he was out there. There was no way they were going to run the screen.
10:58 to go in this 7-7 contest. Yeah, I mentioned that was the Bristow's 13th play of this drive. Remember, they got an extra life on this drive when they had to punt, but the punter was roughed up, as you see the injury to Province. That gives us a chance to remind you, coming up on Tulsa Cable, TV3, the Pat Jones Show, Wednesdays at 7:30, replayed Saturdays at 8:30 on this channel with host Robbie Robertson, as we take a look at OSU football throughout the season on the Pat Jones Show.
Dr. Chip's big in running. He and Tommy Thompson, Kel Kelly, they run in these races all around, and they're big in it.
And speaking of running, and Tommy Thompson, who suffered a heart attack, I believe it's about the same time that you did, JB. Bill Scott underwent triple bypass surgery back in April, and it's nice to see that he's back on the sidelines and in good shape.
And of course, Tommy Thompson, what a great story that was when he had his open heart surgery. Why, happened late spring, and he ran the Tulsa Run in the fall.
Is that right?
That was his goal, and he's been running ever since.
Well, here come the Chieftains, 1st and 10, 11 minutes to go in the game. 7-7 score. Dennison into the secondary, 1st down, up to the Sapulpa 43-yard line. Boy, this little junior is showing us something. 13 carries, 66 yards.
I didn't have him on my sheet designated as a starter tonight, but he probably will be in there most of the time from now on. No, I did have him as a starter. I'm sorry, I did.
For the Chieftains, their 8th first down of the game. Sapulpa has 11. 1st and 10 from the 43. 10.5 to go in regulation. And Corey Barton, senior running back, gets the call and gets a yard up to the 44-yard line. Brings up 2nd down 9.
Great effort in there by Roger Pinson again. Does an excellent job for Bristow. He's big enough to do it, though. He's 6'4", 225 pounds.
I'd say that's big enough.
Certainly a major college prospect.
And the Pinsons, as I mentioned earlier, the Dowdys, a long line of athletes in their family here in Bristow, and the Pinsons can boast that as well. And we'll whistle, and Dave Thomas blows it and says delay a game. So the Chieftains are destructing here in the fourth period. After they get a big game, they get a penalty. 11th of the night, 95 yards in penalties.
He's talking about number 77, Roger Pinson there, the defensive tackle. Donnie started every game since he was a freshman. He was selected on several of the publications blue chip list in Oklahoma. Had a great summer camp at the Oklahoma State University football summer camp.
Tries to apply some pressure, and Bilby scoots across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Pinson on that play was triple teamed. It'll be third down and long for the Chieftains. As 42 comes in with a play, and that is Corey Barton. Third down. You saw Will Berry come to this side at wide receiver. 11-yard needed for a first. Looking for Dennison over the middle. Instead, that first down catch is dropped by number 4, Brian Barnes. So each team drops a pass. Bristow's might have been more critical as Wyckoff dropped his close to the goal line, but that was for a first down.
At that time, Brian Barnes maybe he was getting ready to run before he caught the ball, and that's an error that happens so many times in high school athletics. They want to go somewhere before they gain control of the ball.
Well, here comes Will Berry, one of the better punters in this area. He's shown you why. 43 and 33-yard punts. Nice kick. High, end over end, taken at the 22. Wyckoff looks for a block, can't get one, and is dropped by number 25 for Sapulpa. That is Karama English. Now we have a break in the action. 8:47 to go. A tie game from Bristow. Welcome back to Bristow. John King along with J.B. Haney. Hope you're enjoying this one. With a first down play for Bristow from the 19-yard line. Their own territory. Freddie Hall. Not carried much in the second half, at least not like he did in the first half, as he moves his way across the 20 in Larry Zonka fashion and gains about 4, maybe 5, maybe even more than that. Steve Hall puts the pencil and says 5 yards.
We don't want to put a jinx on either team, but we could be facing our first overtime game here this season.
Third year of high school football and have yet to have an overtime game. This one, however, appears to be going down to the wire. Second down, 5 yards needed. This is Wyckoff. Can't find much, and Will Berry pushes him out of bounds.
Will Berry coming up, making the stop defensively for the
Third down and short for the Pirates. After the 3-yard gain up to the 27. Oh, it's a first down for Freddie Hall. Up to the 35-yard line.
Hall's carrying that ball now like he did in the opening series of the ball game when they drove the length of the field.
Gain of 8.
Up to the left of 36. Stolen first down 10 for the Pirates. 7.5 minutes to go.
Bristow is starting to pile up the yardage and first downs. 12 first downs on the night. Freddie Hall is really taking care of the workload. Ron Reed has not carried as much as usual. 4 carries for 5 yards as he gains 3 on that one. Up to the 38, makes it second down 7. So look at the Sapulpa sideline and Frank Grimm. Head coach.
And of course, you know, Frank Grimm would really like Don to win the opening ball game here and get them off on the right track. I think they were 7-5 last year. Lost a close one right there at the end of the playoffs to Washington High School, so he's ready to get them rolling.
Second down, Freddie Hall, another carry. Hall has over 100 yards in rushing now. 21 carries now for Freddie Hall, senior fullback, All-State candidate, across the 40 to the 41. After a gain of 3, makes it 3rd down and 4. This will be a big play here for both teams. 3rd down, 4 yards needed from the 41 with 6:15 to go in regulation of a 7-7 game. Hall scored Bristow's only touchdown when he scored from 9 yards out in their opening possession of the game after a 78-yard drive. Sapulpa has tied it late in the 3rd quarter when they recovered a fumbled punt return and then scored 3 plays later on a 20-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Johnny Bilby to running back Kevin Dennison.
Travis Wyckoff again coming in from the far side, picking up the 1st down here. And, you know, this is such a key series, and the next 2 or 3 minutes are going to be extremely important. If they can sustain their drive down, they could get down into field goal range. And again, with no wind, why they'd have an opportunity maybe to go up with it. The defensive unit for Sapulpa, they have to hold to give their offense another chance.
1st down 10 from the 47. And this ball game has lived up to its Creek County showdown billing. And a sack for the Chieftains. That's the first one of the night for Sapulpa, as 57 makes the big play for the Chieftains.
Mike Smith was just really blitzing that time, Don. He came and guessed the snap count perfectly, and he was in the backfield about the time the quarterback got hold of the ball. Why Mike Province could see that Smith was right there with him.
There's a look at the Sapulpa fans on the far side. They have packed. The other side is we have 3,000 here at Hafer Field in Bristow for the Creek County Championship between Bristow and Sapulpa. Another fine team in Creek County, Manford. The Manford Pirates, as you mentioned earlier, under John Wittenborn, have produced some fine players, including a quarterback, Russell Claybrook, who will be battling Brent Scott for the quarterbacking position at Oklahoma State in the future. 2nd down, 16.
And John Whitborn will air the ball out when they play man.
From the 41-yard line. He too played at TU, as did Sapulpa's head coach Frank Grimm. From the 41 up to the 44, Mike Smith again makes the tackle after the sack. This time he stops Freddie Hall after the 3-yard gain. 3rd down, 13 from the 44.
And both benches are really yelling encouragement to their team here. The Pirates trying to encourage their offensive unit to get back down and try to pick up a 1st down. The Chieftain defensive unit wanted to hold, wanted to get possession of the ball again so their offense can have one more shot at it. Time's ticking off, 4:25 remaining in the ballgame.
You saw the graphic there. 3rd down conversions, 3 of 10 for Bristow in this game. It's a big reason why they only have 7 points on this opening contest. Oh, great play, great blocking, Wyckoff. He's to the 1st down marker and out of bounds. Will Berry might have saved the touchdown, and Wyckoff, who was the GOAT earlier when he dropped the apparent touchdown pass, makes up for it here with a brilliant 13-yard run and a 1st down for Bristow.
And what a spinning handoff in there, and hiding the ball, concealing it very well was Mike Province, the quarterback for Bristow, and suddenly Travis Wyckoff just pops out of nowhere with the ball, and as you said, Don, had it not been for the big man then, very possibly this ball game would not be tied, but Will Berry was able to haul him in.
And we have a timeout on the field with 4:08 to go in regulation, as the Chieftains call a timeout and want to talk about their defensive strategy. We're coming back to conclude this one in Bristow in just a minute. Welcome back to Bristow as we take we will after this 1st down play anyway, try and take a look at the 3A rankings where the Pirates of Bristow are ranked 3rd in 3A. 1st and down, 10 from the Sapulpa 46-yard line with 4:08 to go. Ooh, Sapulpa's defense comes to the occasion that time on that play after calling timeout. Ron Reed stopped by a lot of white shirts.
Like that Charles Goolsby was in there first, coming in out of his defensive line position, slanting down and just filling the hole very well.
No gain. It'll be 2nd down and 10. A look at the 3A rankings. You see the Pirates, Purple Pirates of Bristow, ranked number 3, and the Ada Cougars ranked number 1. 2nd down, 10 from the Sapulpa 46. Hand off to Hall. He stopped And no gain again, maybe a yard. 74, Charlie Goolsby again out of the defensive tackle position makes the stop, and Goolsby, somebody recharged his batteries during the last timeout.
He is really playing hard in there, and it looked like also that, I think it was Aaron Austin. I couldn't pick up his number. It looked like it was 77 that was really knifing in there as well.
No gain again. It's 3rd and 10 from the Sapulpa 41-yard line. Third down, 10 yards needed. Will he put it up? They haven't passed much in this second half. That might be why. Pressure, Province dropped inside the 40. I think it might have been 67, Darren Bell, that applied the pressure, and Keith Nicholson finishes the play after a gain of 2. Fourth down and 8 inside the 40. Looks like Dowdy will punt for the Pirates with 2:18 to go. Once again, we had never had an overtime, JV. You might have just said the right thing here.
Well, I'm sure that Bill Scott wants to put the ball out just down inside the 20 if he possibly can.
Delay a game, and that was probably called for intentionally to give Dowdy a little more room to try and put one in the corner.
And they may have been trying to draw him offside, even though an offside penalty would not have gotten them a first down. But I think you were right. They were just doing that to get a little more room there and give him an opportunity to force the Chieftains into as long a drive as they possibly can before they could get in any kind of scoring position. 2:11 yet left. Why, it looks like OT.
Remember, Bristow dropped a punt return that gave Sapulpa the touchdown. We have a fumble here, and Sapulpa recovers. Dennison dropped the punt, but it is covered up by 67, Darren Bell. That's one of the reasons he's a co-captain, because he does things just like that.
Well, I don't know where he came from. It looked to me like that there were about 2 or 3 Bristow players around the ball when it slipped out of Kevin Dennison's hand, but the man came up with it.
Got a 26-yard punt. Boy, that's a big recovery by Darren Bell. Mark that one down. 1st and 10, 2:09 to go in regulation from their own 18-yard line. Now, what's Sapulpa do? They don't want to make any mistakes here. Bilby, hands off. Dennison nailed at the line of scrimmage. 35, Freddie Hayes with the stick, as well as 53, it appears. Also on the play, Tyrone Barnett.
I think both teams are going to be basically satisfied now, taking their chance in OT and putting the ball on the 10-yard line, and here we go.
Gain of 1. Makes it 2nd down, 9 yards needed for the 1st. Dennison on the night, 14 carries, 65 yards to lead Sapulpa. Here's Bilby up top, complete for a 1st down to Brian Barnes. With 1:28 to go, and the Chieftains call a timeout.
And it is a 1st down for the Chieftains. Number 40, Ronnie Reed on the stop. Army line.
1 minute, 27 seconds left in this 4th quarter. 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. Bilby has a man open. He might have caught that football. Nice catch by Will Berry, who came back and grabbed it right off the turf. That's close to a 1st down. We'll see if they measure.
That's very close, Don, and with 1 minute 22 seconds left, a couple of more completions like that can put them down into very possible field goal range. And this is what you have to be thinking at this point. If you try to gamble very much, keep in mind that at the midfield point here, if Bristow were to intercept the ball, a couple of quick plays for them, and they would have another shot at it. So they've got to be cautious, but yet at the same time be aggressive enough to try to go in and have an opportunity to win it in regulation. This is going to be very close. Looks to me like he's going to be a little short.
He is, in fact, a foot short.
Most of the time when you're on the road, it comes up a little short. No, and I didn't mean that. The way it sounded, it just kind of comes out that way. That's what you always tell your kids. Oh, you know, it's going to come up a little short if you're on the road. You get that short chain when you're at home.
Minute 22 left in this ball game. Second and a foot from their own 41-yard line. They wouldn't dare win this before the end of the game, would they? Or before regulation ends.
A minute and 22 seconds is an eternity in an athletic contest, and a lot can happen.
Bilby fires. Incomplete. Brian Barnes couldn't hang on. He had the first down. Not a bad call on second, just a foot needed.
You know, he was really wide open out there, and Ron Reed, I think, could kind of smell what was going to occur out there, and he was lurking in the area, as well as Freddie Hayes. He was also out there and had one of those kids intercepted, Don. There is no one between them and pay dirt.
Stops the clock at a minute 13. Hafer Field, Tulsa Cable's TV3, and Bilby sneaks through for the first down. Gains a yard or two. And that's another first down for the Chieftains. That's their 10th of the night. We'll see Sapulpa later in the season. A couple of more games this year for the Chieftains on Tulsa Cable as a timeout is called by Sapulpa with 1:10 left. And a first down at the 42 or 43-yard line. That gives us a chance to talk to you about the Gary Gibbs Show with Dean Blevins. Coming your way Wednesday nights at 8:30. Also Thursday nights and Saturday mornings. And we have quite a lineup for you on Wednesday nights. There's a look at the Wednesday night lineup. Spirit of Champions with Barry Switzer, his new show. At 7 o'clock, the guest, I believe this month, is Gary Busey. He'll talk to native Oklahomans that have indeed made an impact throughout the nation in various ways. Pat Jones at 7:30, Gary Gibbs Show at 8:30, and Hurricane Connection with Dave Rader and Bill Land at 9 o'clock. So a lot of football coming your way on Wednesday nights on Tulsa Cable's TV3. It's first down for the Sapulpa Chieftains at their own 43-yard line. Bilby on the night, 7 for 16, 137 yards and a touchdown. Not a bad night's work for the senior.
A minute and 10 seconds remaining. Still a lot of football.
Has time, fires. They like that play. It is caught for a first down inside the 45 to the 43. They'll stop the clock to move the chains for 42, Corey Barton.
And Sapulpa's going to be in their hurry-up offense, and if they can get a couple of more slant passes in like that, why, they're going to be down within an opportunity to kick the football.
From their 43 to the Bristow 43, and it is first and 10. Bilby works in a hurry. It's complete. Did he get out of bounds in time? Apparently not. Barnes caught the ball, but has stayed in bounds, and the clock continues to run at 49 seconds. And Bilby now 9 for 18, 161 yards. From the 43, that ball down to the 35. It's second and a yard. They throw incomplete, almost intercepted.
Just barely went through the hands there. Couldn't see who it was. Looked like Aaron Williams.
Aaron Williams, I think, the intended receiver, and Eric Sneed almost picked it off. A couple of 84s involved on that play.
And had that pass been completed, they would have been within field goal range. We're going to see a kick here, Don, before it's over.
But on second and a yard, and go for a play like that, I like the attitude. That now makes it third and a yard from the Bristow 34. Now, with 35 seconds left, did they call a timeout? Apparently not.
No, just incomplete pass, no timeout.
All right. They're taking a lot of time, however, to get this play underway. Third yard needed. They give it to the running back. He's stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Dennison is short, I believe, of the first down. And give credit to Freddie Hayes, number 35. Timeout Sapulpa. And they do mark it to where he appears to have a first down. We'll see.
It's going to be close again. They may not use the same chain.
Dennison was stood straight up. by the Bristow defender. And when you're running head-on into a linebacker or a defensive lineman and you're 5'5", 145 pounds, usually it goes against you. But Dennison has showed some strength in the play. 14 carries, 65 yards on the night, and caught a touchdown pass tonight of 20 yards. First down, Sapulpa with 28 seconds left. That is the 12th first down in the game and the 4th first down on this drive, which started at their own 18-yard line after Darren Bell recovered the punt return, in which it was fumbled by one of the defenders. Kevin Dennison, I believe, was the gentleman that tried to catch the punt, muffed it. Darren Bell recovered it, and Sapulpa has moved from their 18 to the Bristow 33 in 2 minutes. In fact, less than 2 minutes. They had the ball at 2:09. It is now at 28 seconds. So they've moved 49 yards in a minute and a half, roughly.
Frank Grimm, the head coach, is out there in the huddle of the Sapulpa Chieftains, giving them the last 28-second instruction, and I'm sure that they're going to be in some type of a hurry-up offense, maybe trying to throw the ball up the field, get it to someone, get out of bounds, and kill the clock. And with the ball resting there on, resting on about the 34-yard line, it doesn't take long. A couple of quick plays, and they could be within range of their field goal kicker.
Yeah, we were talking about Williams earlier in pre-games, kicking them from 40 yards out. He's missed one from 26 tonight, however. First down from the 33, has a man open, tells him to forget the sideline and go deep, and it's way overthrown and incomplete. Looking for Aaron Williams. With 24 on the coverage, Dewey Lowe, junior, defensive back. Stops the clock with 21 seconds and makes it second down and 10 from the Bristow Pirate 33-yard line.
You know, Bilby had Barnes wide open out there in the flat for about a 12-15-yard gain, and that's when he motioned him to kind of do a little stop and start and going up the sideline. Had he completed the one with the 12-15-yard pass, the ball could have ended up on about the 20-yard line.
And he would have been able to scoot out of bounds. Second down, 10 from the Bristow 33. 21 seconds left. Quick pass, off the hands of Will Berry. And that's been about the third pass I can think of that's been in the midst of Chieftain receivers and dropped. In fact, the third straight incompletion by Bilby, but he's had a good night. 9 for 21, 160 yards.
A good defensive effort in here by Bristow. They certainly are not going to let him get the big one on him, and trying to hold the short passes to as few yards as they possibly can.
160 yards passing in the game with a touchdown for Bilby. In the second half, 120 yards passing, and that one's right on the button. Caught, dropped, fumbled. Bristow's football. A Pirates football with 10 seconds left. We're going to overtime from Hafer Field.
And what a great effort in there by the defensive secondary, because they sandwiched him in there and knocked that ball loose and then pounced on it. I couldn't catch which one made the recovery because there were so many scrambling around in there, but just a great defensive effort by the secondary of Bristow.
13-yard gain, but then the fumble. That's the second turnover of the night on Bristow, and that takes care of regulation. Well, our third year of high school football, and what a way to start the 1990 season. We go to overtime. We're coming back to Bristow in just a minute as high school football continues on Tulsa Cable's TV3, who urges you to be drug-free. Welcome back to Hayford Field in Bristow. John King along with J.B. Haney. Our third year of high school coverage on Tulsa Cable. Our first overtime game, and a 7-7 score. Bristow scoring the first time they got the ball and going 78 yards in 12 plays. Freddie Hall scored from 9 yards out after getting a screen pass and going 35 yards to set up the touchdown. Bristow then got a big break late in the third quarter when they recovered a fumbled punt return. In fact, it was a muff on the punt return, and 3 plays later, a 20-yard touchdown pass from Johnny Bilby to Kevin Dennison. And you see the total offense after 4 quarters. It's close. Sapulpa 245 yards, Bristow 235. Dennison 66 yards rushing for Sapulpa. Bilby 173 yards passing in this game, 130 in the second half. Freddie Hall, the leading rusher in the game, 111 yards. JB, we have overtime. Sapulpa won the coin toss and will get the football first. Here's how it works. Each team gets the ball in one overtime. Sapulpa will get the ball at the Bristow 10-yard line. Now, no matter what happens, Sapulpa scores or doesn't score, Bristow will then get their own chance at the Sapulpa 10-yard line.
And of course, what Bristow is trying to, or Sapulpa will be trying to do, will be to try to score a touchdown. But if they're faced with a situation like 4th and say they were thrown for a loss, it's 4th and 15, they may elect to go for a field goal, or they could elect to go for a field goal even closer in. But then the pressure begins to mount. But I really like this rule in high school football. We've had it for several years now. It took a long time to get it, but it allows you to go home with a winner and not with a tie.
Yeah, I like it as well. Bilby from the 10, first overtime from Bristow. Pitched at Dennison, nothing doing in the backfield, and he's dropped for a loss of about 3. Travis Wyckoff, no, 33, I beg your pardon, DeShazo. Brian DeShazo makes the tackle, as well as 53. He's really come on in the second half. Defensive tackle Tyrone Barnett.
And this is where your goal line defense really comes into play, and I know that both coaches have worked on this situation before. This is nothing new to them, and at the same time, they've worked on their goal line offense. But a great play in there by Brian DeShazo.
Second down, 13 from the Bristow 13. Pass in the end zone. Oh, it is caught. Yes, it's a touchdown in overtime to Brian Barnes. What a pass by Bilby, and Barnes makes the nice sliding catch, and the Chieftain fans are on their feet.
And really, Don, he really laid it right over the top of Ron Reed. Reed had him covered pretty well, but just a perfectly executed pass in there by Bilby, and a great catch by Brian Barnes.
Bilby now with 186 yards passing in the game, 2 touchdowns. Extra point kick is crucial, and it is good by Aaron Williams. So it's a 14-7 game for Sapulpa. Now it's up to Bristow. They'll go to the Sapulpa 10-yard line and try to match the touchdown and the PAT. We're taking a break, coming back. We're in overtime from Bristow. Welcome back. Here come the Pirates. They've got a chance now. Now, the fun thing about overtime is if they do score 6, then do you go for 2 or go for 1? And in these overtimes, usually they just go for 1 to try and tie the game.
If they're very confident in their kicker, they will. But sometimes they may feel like, hey, we better go try to win it.
They're confident in that guy, 32, Freddie Hall. Let's all jump on his back and ride it in for 6, huh? From the 10 down to the 7, it appears. Makes it second down. Goal from the Sapulpa 7. We're in overtime from Bristow. Second and goal from the Sapulpa 7-yard line. Province, the quarterback. Hey, Freddie Hall, fullback. Ron Reed, the other running back, number 40. Province to Hayes, up the middle, nothing doing. He might have gained 1, maybe 2. Darren Bell, 67, and number 57 on the stop, both co-captains, 57 being Mike Smith. It's nice to see him back into the game. The linebacker was injured earlier. And Hall is dropped at the 6, so it's a gain of 1.
You can look at the coaches over on the sideline of Sapulpa. Tension is mounting there. They're talking 2 downs away from the opening game win.
And they're about to come out of their shoes. Third down and goal from the 7. They're down by 7. They need a big play here. Look at Hall drive his way inside the 5 to about the 2-yard line. Touchdown saving play, it appeared to be, by 87, Bruce Warrington. Bristow fans are on their feet here on the near side. And Bill Scott talks it over with his offensive coordinator, Rick Dill, and the rest of the assistant coaching staff. So you come down to one play. Will they give it to Freddie Hall or fake the Hall up the middle and let Province roll outside? 4th down, 2 yards needed for the touchdown. Then they need the PAT to tie the game and send it into the second overtime. They give to Reed. He gets stopped at the 1-yard line, and the Sapulpa Chieftains have won the season opener over their arch rival Bristow Pirates here at Hafer Field. Look at the Chieftains, and the debut of Frank Grimm is successful. And boy, you don't come to Bristow and win many games, but Frank Grimm has brought the Chieftains down Route 66, and they go back home 14-7 winners.
But I think the most important thing as far as Bristow's concerned here, that they know now they can play, Don. They played a good 5A ball club to overtime, so they have nothing to be ashamed of. A great high school football game.
Well, it was 7-7 after regulation. Brian Barnes catching the 13-yard overtime pass to win the game for Sapulpa, and the Sapulpa defense holding Freddie Hall and the rest of the Chieftains out of the end zone to close this one out from Hafer Field. We're back to wrap it up in a minute. Welcome back to Hafer Field, and the people in Bristow and the people from Sapulpa had to enjoy this one, win or lose. It was a great football game, and our players of the game, in which each player will receive a plaque courtesy of All-American trophy for their own possession, and the school will each receive a plaque for their trophy cases. JV, you have the Sapulpa player of the game.
And it wasn't easy, Don, when you look at a great effort out there by the Sapulpa Chieftains, both offensively and defensively. I think you have to go with Johnny Bilby, number 16, the quarterback. 11 of 23 passing, 186 yards, including 2 touchdowns. So he has to be Sapulpa's player of the game. 2 crucial touchdowns when he fired the 20-yarder to Dennison to tie the game in the 3rd period, and then the overtime touchdown to Brian Barnes. For the Bristow Pirates, you see the numbers on Freddie Hall, 25 carries, 118 yards, and the only Bristow touchdown. He even set up the touchdown himself. He was a workhorse, and he was our player of the game last year in the win over Glenpool. So the final, once again, Sapulpa defeating Bristow by a score of 14-7, and for the Chieftains, we'll see them a couple of times later in the 1990 season. For the Bristow fans, we hope you enjoyed this one. For the Sapulpa fans, if you're watching this on Saturday, we invite you to stay tuned next for the University of Tulsa Oklahoma State game. That's coming up next here on this channel. If you're watching this on Sunday, we invite you to stay tuned for 2 games. McLean against Booker T. Washington and Cassia Hall against Holland Hall. As this high school football game between Bristow and Sapulpa has been brought to you by Tulsa Votech. Find your future here. By Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center and Sports Medicine Center. And by Tulsa Cable Television, where we show the select. Once again, Saturday, if you're watching this, stay tuned next for TU Oklahoma State. If you're watching this on Sunday, stay tuned for 2 games next week as high school football continues on Tulsa Cable Sports.